Well, just when we thought things couldn't get any worse, we've got a response from Iran's supreme leader who's threatened not just Israel for its so-called reciprocatory attacks but also the United States as a whole. A crushing response is apparently anticipated now, and geopolitics is going down the drain. You see, anyone who's remotely interested in how the world works in terms of global conflict, in terms of global conversations and diplomacy as a whole, understands the fact that coming to the discussion table and having a one-on-one conversation is always going to be more beneficial than thousands and thousands of people dying, being displaced, and millions, if not billions, in property being lost. The conflict between Israel and a lot of the Middle East is nothing new, and unfortunately is not something that can be just brushed aside without having dire consequences for the rest of the world. This needs to be addressed. Can we trust the new president of the United States, whoever that might be, to resolve this issue once and for all? Or are we going to be living in a world wherein we've got two active war fronts, one in Russia and Ukraine, one in Israel and a lot of other countries, specifically being spearheaded by Iran? Well, for those of us that think the Russia-Ukraine conflict is over, guess what? We've got new troops entering the front lines, with North Korean troops now being deployed in Russia. The front lines has a new North Korean twist, if you will. From one side, where you had NATO forces training Ukrainian armies, we had funding being pooled together and sent to Ukraine to push back the Russians, and now, almost after 1,000 days of fighting, we've got funding from China for Russia, we've got North Korea sending its troops for Russia, and we've got Russia in its entirety being more capable than ever before and not afraid to rely on nuclear arsenals as the last resort. Diplomacy, geopolitics, and conversations today are more essential than ever before. Is any of the solutions to any of these problems very easy to come by? Absolutely not. But is it possible to sit down and have a conversation, have a little give and take, have discussions that aren't boiled down to ego plays, and come to solutions that help preserve the environment, help preserve human life, dignity, funds that are being pushed towards war agendas to better the lives of people in their own individual countries, if not people across the globe? It is significant today to understand the roles that you and I play as regular people of this planet. Being aware is half the battle. Being in a position to do something about it makes you more important than ever before. An open letter to anybody who's a proponent of peace should always include one thing, which is peace should know no boundaries. Peace should not have any caveats. Yes, there are complex issues. Yes, there are things that cannot be pushed aside, should not be pushed aside, if you ask me. But at the end of the day, if we're here and if we look at the world as one without boundaries, one without thresholds, then it's an effort that we all can work towards as one. I mean, that's going to be our push for the foreseeable future. The sustainable development goals can only get us so far in terms of actual sustainability. But as long as there's war, as long as there's conflict, as long as there are differences in what people perceive is the right thing to do for their own countries and the bigger picture of their neighborhood, we're always going to be at odds. Let's help make the world a better place. Let's push peace and stay informed. It's all that matters.